So let's start the class. What is strategic management or what is strategy? It's a question. What is strategy? Come on, people.
A set of guidelines that guide the actions.
Guidelines for action.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Plus participation. Yes.
Plan. Action.
That's modified.
Which enables an organization to achieve its objective, a certain plan that enables an organization to achieve its objectives.
Achieving objectives. The plan for objectives. I'm just going to call it plan for objectives. Achievement. Anyone else? Someone from this side of the class. What is strategy? What do you think about when you get started? What is it?
ভয় পেলে হবে না।
Systematic way of doing
এই
something.
সেমিস্টারে ক্লাস পার্টিসিপেশন।
Systematic. Like that. I like this system idea. I got an engineer. Because engineers, they are reputed for their
খিচুড়ি বানালাম, খেয়ে আসলাম।
system thinking, right? How does this
অসমোসকে
affect
ইচ্ছা
things and all
করতেছিল,
that?
তাই ভাবলাম যে বাসায় যাই, দেখা করে শুরু করি।
Please.
Understanding what the current scenario is, seeing where you should be and finding a way to get there.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Basically, plan.
Current scenario, then
Current scenario, where to be and how to get there.
where to be. Board is giving out thoughts. 5, I need 5 more.
Strategy.
It's an approach, right? Design. Is the information of policies to achieve the goals. Policy formulation. Three more. Add something from there, right? No, guys, maybe. Resource allocation. Nice one.
Resource allocation.
Resource
Just like this.
allocation. Yeah, I need 2 more. 2 more. Come on, people. Yeah, up to 15, please.
Planning, monitoring, and control.
It's management.
Part of strategy. How do you plan something? How do you monitor?
Plan monitoring. Let's put it in. Plan monitoring.
Concept is strategy, the action is management.
Yeah, we are stretching it now. Monitoring. Control. Last one, I need 1 more. Go on. Thank you for rescuing me.
A vision to achieve a goal.
Can you say that
A
again?
vision to achieve organization goal.
Achieving organization goal. So my follow-up question today is, so if an organization does not have a plan, or they don't have goals, they don't have objectives, does it mean they do not have a strategy? If you don't have a plan, you don't have a goal, does it mean the organization does not have a strategy?
Yes.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Come on, let's vote. Let's put it to a vote. Yes, no, let me see your hand. Yes. If they don't, so the question is, if I'm not, let me put the question.
Sounds very
out before
obvious,
we
which is
vote.
why I'm going to
Let's
say
see
no.
now. If an organization, this goal, objective, and objectives. Objective. No, sorry, my handwriting.
Okay, what about group thingy? না না ওইটা না আমি আইবির কথা বলতেছি আমাদের আবার
Okay, you get a question. An organization without a goal, a plan, or an objective, do they have a strategy? So, yes. Let me see your hand. Yes. Come on, don't worry, don't worry. I want to say there's no right or wrong answer, but I have an answer. Right? And let's push it up, push it up. Come on, people. Come on, come on. Don't be shy, don't be shy. I'm not grading. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We got 13 for yes. Oh, yeah? You cannot sit on the fence on this. You gotta pick a side. Yes. It's 13, right? No. Meaning they do have a strategy. It doesn't have. Come on, push it up, put it up. Come on, don't be shy, don't be shy. Let me see. No, it's not, that's not possible.
Is it maybe there? Maybe.
There is no maybe. That's not an option, people. That's not an option. Because if there is, okay. What's your goals? Yes, okay, you voted yes? Yes? No? I need someone to tally for me. Because we are all going to pick a side.
50-50.
So, someone that said yes, why do you say yes? You're going to hear me say this a lot in this class. Why? Please.
Because strategy is kind of blueprint to what the goal, how to achieve a goal, or what the goal is. So it revolves around goal or the master plan of the organization. And if the organization does not have a goal, then how will there be a strategy?
Okay.
It has to.
Please.
I think an organization can have a strategy without necessarily having a goal or vision. Because a strategy is a communicated way of doing something, the systematic way of doing something. You can know how you want to do something, even if you don't have an end, even if you don't know why you're doing that thing.
It seems you're defending no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
Without any direction to align efforts and resources, there must be a strategy to align efforts.
My answer was yes, because for the strategy, you need the vision, the mission, the tutorial, objectives like that. So if they don't have one thing,
Strategy is basically.
So sorry. I want you to say what's your position before you say,
My position is yes.
okay?
So if the company has a strategy, then
One class, people, one class, please, thank you.
if the company has a strategy that defines the overall culture of organization. So that once you define a culture of organization, that culture eventually leads to what you want to achieve in terms of collective as a company, as a whole. If there is a target that you want to achieve at the end of the year, of the last quarter, then you will have to define a strategy.
So if you don't have those things, you don't have a strategy. Okay, please.
So Professor, if you don't have a strategy for your organization and your employees and you yourself will not have a clear vision, so you don't know where you're heading into the future. So you'll be revolving around doing everything that you can possibly do, but there will not be an end.
So you are for yes, right?
Yes.
Let's take one more for each. I'll tell you my position in like 2 minutes later. Okay. What else, please?
So
Are you a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, well, for example, for this subject,
No.
if I don't know how much I want to score,
Distance.
I won't do anything. I won't have any strategies or I won't have any plans to achieve what I want to score. So what I feel is like, we should have the objective or a goal to have the strategy in the organization or something like that.
There's some no that want to counter that. Are you yes or no?
I'm a no.
Okay, please. Thanks.
So before I answer this, I would like to ask people like, if you swim, and if you're not going anywhere, but you're still floating in the water, are you not, like swimming technically? You're not going anywhere, but you're still.
But the goal is swimming.
No, the goal is not swimming. Like you're floating, right?
Maybe the goal is floating.
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. So I think the point I'm trying to make is that an organization. Don't worry. I'll
You
have
gave a
answers
very
for you.
good example. That's why they are all animated. So good job.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. So basically, I think the organization, like surviving itself, that is a strategy. Like you don't have. Sometimes the strategy might not be good. That's completely valid. But I think you have to have a strategy. Otherwise, the company is not going to survive. Staying alive is also a strategy. I think. So that is my position.
The reason why this is number one, the reason why I'm going to what is strategy for us is because I want us to be able to get to, because we get a point in the class that you will tell me something and I will tell you that is not strategic. Okay? In the real sense, the opposite of strategy is tactics. Okay? So something can be strategic, something can be tactical. Take for instance, this accounting software you're going to use. That's tactical. I'm not saying there is no reasoning in doing that. I'm just saying whether you use software A or software B, you already know what you want to do.
But which software would need to achieve that particular goal? That is where.
So that's this. No. That's for, again. You've already had your goal at the back of your mind. Goal is strategic. Objective is strategic, right? We want to expand into Asia. That's a strategic goal. Now, whatever you need to do to achieve that, those are tactical. And what we're going to be focused on, why I'm saying that is that most of the things you have been learning before you came into this class, they're tactical. The reason why you learned them before you came into this class is because you have to use those tactical things to justify your strategy. Okay? I just want to make that distinction. And again, I'll tell you where I stand on this point in the field. This is a textbook definition, art and science from dating and implementing, there's a reality or strategy. There's one way to think about it, cross-functional objective, If you're going to write a textbook, you got to write a definition, right? So that's one definition of strategy. But so, two things I'm just going to point out here is the idea of art and science. 50, 60 years, management has been turned into a kind of a scientific field, right? The scientific field, everything. I'm sure some of you in data sciences, you run so much. So my background in mathematics is good. In software, no. I have zero. I hate Excel. I'm good with math. If you're computing, integration, differentiation, that's fine. So when I went to do my MBA, I have this decision science class. Oh my goodness. It was a nightmare. Simply a nightmare. It was, I don't know for you, I'm sure some of you are enjoying it. It was a nightmare. I did not sleep. That semester, I did not sleep. I'm just walking. That's not much of what you're going to see in this class. I'm sure that's what you're used to, and you think that's management. And I'm not saying that is not. I'm just saying that is not strategy. There's a little bit of it you're going to bring into strategy, but that's not the whole thing. That is the science part. The art part is how do we fit this AI thing into our business model. I'm not sure whether you know 90%, I think it's 70% of big data analytics projects are not profitable. I don't know whether you know that. That's the figure is around 50%. So even when you have a tool as powerful as an AI, whatever you guys call it, you first call it. You still have to be able to integrate it into the system. That is strategy. All right? So you got to find a way of thinking about where are we going to put this. So think about it, because I'm going to ask you to bring in your judgment into this class. Right? In judgment, I mean you look at the situation, you evaluate it, you put a score on it. I'm not going to be the one that will give you the number. You will give us the number. And you have to be able to justify your number. I'm going to give you one. And when you're doing your, for instance, when you're doing your SWOT analysis, you have one point. You have one to spread across 20 objects, 10 strengths, and weaknesses. I want you to evaluate each of those strengths. Okay, this strength is worth 0.05. This one is worth 0.20. That is the add-on. I know that's what this student of the board for. I need to be upfront about it. Okay? Because what I'm going to expect from you is to bring all the knowledge you have gained from all the other classes to make informed decisions. Because I'm telling you, the art of managing is a lot of guesses and informed decisions. It's a lot of guesses. Of course, the boss will come out and say, I'm guessing. Okay? So I just want to put that in the back of your mind as we're going forward, because you say, I don't understand that one. Now, this is the definitions I want you to look at. I'll tell you which one is mine. Look at this one.
Yes, it. Other strategy.
And in Misbah,
Another
is one of the leading management thinkers of the 24th, 20th century. He's a Canadian. A pattern in a stream of decisions. So if I ask you that same question now, how many of you will still say yes? The strategy is a pattern in a stream of decisions. Are you still going to say yes? As long as you're making decisions in an organization, you have a strategy. Is that? Even if you don't have a goal.
Yeah.
Please. As long as you're making, let me put it this way. And I'm sure you have a similar experience with me. If I wake up in the morning, I'll come to you. If I wake up in the morning, I pull out my phone and I'm looking at the news, it's not going to be a very good day for me. If I wake up in the morning, I'm a religious person. If I wake up in the morning and I pray, I say my prayers, I reflect a little bit, think about my past actions, it's going to be a good day. Easy, easy peasy. So of course, sometimes I wake up in the morning, I make the wrong choice. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I make the right choice. But I know from doing that 6 months, I know if I want to have a productive day, this is what I do. As long as so, please, I'll come to you. Let's come to you.
So based on the pattern of decisions, what if the pattern is all bad decisions? Then
that's a strategy. So that's why we employ strategic consultants. They can look at your books and say, come on, you're making all bad choices. Yeah. You bring in an auditor, they can look at your book and tell you, dude, come on, sister, come on, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. It's a different thing if it's just one. Of course, we all make, so for instance, my example that I gave you, there are some days that I make the bad decision in the beginning, I will still recover, right? There are some days I make the good decision in the beginning and probably have a bad day, maybe a bad news, something. But you will see it, if you look at your life, you will see that pattern. You'll be surprised. If you actually, sometimes so that time management experts, I don't know how many people have taken time management courses here. Time management courses? You should. So what they ask you to do, one of the exercises is you go and you write down what you're doing in a day. You'll be surprised. Oh, that's nice. I had a book over there where I write what I do.
Paper focus. I don't see it. What is the strategy thing?
So in this my book, that's what I do on a daily basis. I put it down. So what it asks you to do is to map out, don't just keep going and keep writing down. So we've done this for 15 minutes, write down, and you see how you are using your time. Probably they said do it for a week. You will see the pattern, you'll be surprised. Really, you'll be surprised. The hours you spend on your phones. The hours you spend watching TV. You'll be able to see whether you should be productive. Again, it's a pattern. Was it Stephen Covey that said, we don't determine our future. We determine our habits, we determine our behavior determines our habits, and our habits determine our future. So it's the same thing with organization. You see a successful organization, you could see the pattern in what they're doing. And it's that pattern that determines the success. The challenge with that though, and we're going to talk about this in the class, the challenge is that sometimes the environment around you changes, right? But unfortunately for you, you have an habit or a pattern of decisions that does not match that environment. And it's very, very difficult to change if you are successful. It's a lot easier to talk to an organization that is not successful and say, oh yeah, you guys are, you're screwing up, blah, blah, blah. Do this. But when you're successful, ooh, that's a different thing. So yeah, my answer is no. If you are wondering where I stand. There's a pattern in the stream of decisions. Sometimes the people that are even implementing it, they do not know. Okay? Questions about that? Do I have anyone that still disagree with me? Please, why do you disagree? How?
A pattern is a stream of decisions about what?
What?
A pattern in a stream of decisions. That is what strategy is to you. Decisions about what? You're not making decisions in obscurity. You're making decisions about something. What is that something? It's definitely the goal you have in mind.
So let's back up. Think about, let's pick a random organization. Pick a random organization. Come on, those are big organizations. Yeah, let's pick a mom and pop shop. You know those shops that are where you Tim Hortons, those are still strategic. I'm talking about ethnic where we go buy our local, our native foods. You know, the Indian foods, the Nigerian foods, you know those
Osmos.
you know those places. You know, we walk in, you're not for everybody. When you go there, you speak your language, you know, you do your thing, right? There's one on Tecumseh, when I go to, and they greet me in Nigerian language, you know. So, you know what I'm talking about. So you come in, in that place, what are the decisions? The decision is just to stock. They stock the place, put in this thing. Instead that you have a goal.
The goal is to sell what you want to sell.
No. What do you mean? No, those goals are not written down. Just basically you're offering the service. If you make that argument, that means every business has a goal. That's not true. That's not true. Not every business, because a goal you have to. You have to strive for a goal. Are we taking management class? Like not the HR management. Management. We're not international management. The management of what they call it.
Employees.
I teach sometimes I teach it organizational design, organizational structure, and all that. They'll tell you what a goal is. You have to be, the smart thing, right? Specific.
Leadership,
you know what I'm talking about, smart, right? Come on, someone should help us out with that. Smart. I think it's specific, achievable, measurable,
time bound.
Results and time bound.
It is smart.
Think about goal in terms of that smart. Not all organizations are. Not all organizations are.
That's what I'm saying.
But one thing that all organizations are is what's it called? Because for instance, think about those organizations. they are not, they are not making money, it's not profitable. What do? Most of the ethnic shops, they're not profitable. You know that, right? Most of them are not profitable, they're barely making survival. Because in my last class, I'm thinking that's a strategic something someone can do. There's a need for consolidation in that space, especially in.
They are not making profit, but their goal must be to make the profit.
So what I'm saying is that, you know why it's not goal? You know why it's not goal? Why it's not a goal is that.
Yes.
So if it's a goal that is smart, you should be able to iterate. There should be a feedback loop that will be able to say, oh yeah, I'm not making goal. Are you going to pull out of the business? Most people, if your goal is profit and you're not making profit in 10 years, won't you pull out?
Yeah.
It means that's not your goal. Maybe your goal is just to survive. You came into a country and you want to.
Like you told that if they are not gaining profit within 10 years, then they are gonna take it back, right? They are gonna stop their business.
No, but there should be a break-even point for every business.
Okay, I agree, but like initially their goal was to achieve profit. Initially their goal was to provide the food what the customer wanted, right?
I'm going to ask you a question about that. Do you know anyone that runs that kind of business?
Yeah.
So, okay, please. How many people know someone that runs that kind of business? Have you spoken to them before about their plan, their goal? And they told you their goal is to be profitable? Please, I'm asking specifically. Have you spoken to them and they tell you their goal is to be profitable? Please.
Not every organization's goal is to make profit.
Because it's a challenge is that we come into this class as business students after, some of you have been here a year or thereabout, you have been schooled to believe that profit maximization is the goal of business. Okay? So the idea that it's profitable is like, no. The idea that the goal is profitable, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's socially constructed. By that I mean you assume it for them.
Being told.
Okay, let's put it this way. The people that know someone that does this, ask them what their goal is. Some of them, their goal is to have something for their family. No. Some of them, that's their goal. Some of them, they don't have any goal. They didn't have a job. They just have something to do. That's not a goal.
Maybe they.
No. When I'm saying goal, I'm saying smart. Oh no, people. So are you saying that is a smart goal?
That might not be the smart goal, but it's a goal at the end of the day. Like anyone is investing time and resources.
Okay, I agree with you. You don't agree with me. No, but the important thing is, hold on, people. The important thing is, if there are decisions in organization, that is strategy. Now, when we're talking about goals, I'm thinking smart goals. You are not thinking smart goals, and that's fine. So that is
There are levels to this.
lack of communication, right?
It's not also.
But the important thing is, when you make decisions, if you think about it from individual, when you make decisions, there is always a pattern. That pattern is your strategy. Okay? Why is that important? Excuse me, people. Why is that pattern important? Why do you think it's important?
The pattern predicts the future.
The pattern predicts the future. Why is anyone else? Why is that important? A guides the organization. Okay, I'm gonna tell you two reasons why it's important. For what? Say that. Okay. No, not the goal. I'm saying the pattern. Hold on, people. There are two reasons. Number one is that is going to be your task in this class. Okay? When you're reading when you're reading the cases, you're trying to figure out what is the pattern for this organization. Okay? For instance, think about this. Google, big organization, right? When was the last time Google invented something new? The last major breakthrough.
Google Pixel.
They launched AI.
Phone.
Nah, Google have done nothing in the last 10 years. But Google, even Apple, what is iPhone what? What's the difference between iPhone 10 and iPhone 16? Camera, right? Storage. Google, what I'm saying, Google, let's stick with Google. Actually, this applies to most of the big tech firms in the US. But let's stick with Google. Both Google, Facebook, Apple, all of them, they've not invented anything in the last 10 years.
Okay.
What do?
Maximize,
They acquire.
acquire.
They acquire. So you have a genius idea about ABC. What do? I acquire. That's what they've been doing in the last 10 years. Look at almost anything. Instagram that was built by
WhatsApp.
someone else, WhatsApp, everything, they just acquire.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Is that if you are making a recommendation for an organization, you have to understand their pattern, right? Because your recommendation should align with their pattern. Think about me. If I've been waking up every day, say at 5 o'clock, and then you say, oh, you got a job for me, I have to wake up at 3 a.m. You're disrupting my pattern. You're disrupting my pattern. So you have to, and I see this a lot, because students will think in terms of efficiency. For strategies, you have to think in terms of pattern. Does what we are doing, does it fit the pattern of this organization? What they've been doing, because again, you will make strategic recommendations, and we have like 7, you might make 8 strategic recommendations. Which one should they pick? Usually, it is easier to lead the horse in the direction they are going. Right? That is why the pattern is very important. So the first reason is that's your task. You want to see the pattern in this organization. The second reason is for your strategic recommendation, your pattern has to align with that organization. The only exception to that, the only exception to the second rule is that if the organization is in trouble. Because apparently, if you're in trouble, if you go to see a therapist and they tell you you're in trouble, they'll ask you to change your ways. Right? They say, no, don't do that. You can't be doing the same thing and get out of trouble. But usually, for most organizations that are doing well, what you want to ask them to do is to follow their pattern. AI has been a big thing, right? You remember AI has been a big thing for the last 2 years? None of the big boys have been able to do anything about it. Are you surprised that none of them, not Apple, not Google, not Facebook, why? Again, they've not invented anything, they have all the money. But they've not invented anything in 10 years. So yeah, AI is the big thing, but yeah, go do it. You can't, because it doesn't fit their pattern. It doesn't. Their pattern in the last 10 years, just fat executives, spending money, acquiring WhatsApp for 17 billion. I actually don't know why I became a professor. When I could just do WhatsApp, I made 17 billion. But the important thing is, you have to understand the pattern of the organization. Because if you give me a strategic recommendation that does not align with the pattern of that organization, you have to explain it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alrighty, let's go to. So now that we've gone from high heavens, let's go back to let's go back to our class. Again, this class, like the other class, the new age stuff, I'm talking a lot. I don't plan to in this class, but I need to lay the foundation for us, all right? So this is our textbook. All right, this is the pattern in our textbook. The first part of the class is what we call strategy formulation. It's what it sounds like. That's one good thing about money. It's what it sounds like. You're formulating a strategy. Now, the question for me is, if you want to formulate a strategy, what do you have to think about? The question for you, what do you have to think about when you formulate a strategy for an organization? What? Oh, thank you. That's a good one. But the question, how do you see that previous pattern? Right? But yes, exactly. It's previous pattern, but how do you see this previous pattern? That's where you do all the things that you're doing. Your ROA analysis, your this one, that one, and all that. Okay? And this is what we're going to be doing in class. I'll give you some matrices here and there, but I don't want you to lose sight of what we are trying to figure out. What we are trying to figure out is the pattern of this particular organization, of this particular one. Because that's a challenge. Every organization, they have different patterns. And there is no one pattern that actually leads to success. I don't know, Apple, Google. I don't think there are two organizations that could be more different. I don't think there are two organizations that could be more different. Apple and Google. Have anyone been to Google campus in San Francisco? Google campus. When I was doing my MBA, we had a field trip over there. Oh, it's the closest to heaven on earth. It is so sweet. Everything was catered for. You got people doing gym inside, people are playing table tennis. You know, it's sweet. Apple is not like that. Apple is all about the work, all about excellence. Right? Amazon. Is anyone working with Amazon? No, you did not answer my question. Is anyone working with Amazon there? Okay, seems no. Amazon is just worse. Because those guys, they're about the cost, they're about the efficiency. And there was a blog sometimes in August last year. Some folks, some of the Amazonians or Amazon people, they moved to Google and Facebook, and they started a blog. And that if you want to get another system, so you know how you work. I don't know whether you work on two systems. I work on two systems, right? So I'm working on this. I'm projecting maybe like I'm doing data analysis. One data is here, one data is here. So if you want to get additional, what's it called, desktop in Amazon, I think the vice president has to approve it. Yeah. Whereas in Google, what do you want? What do you need? You need five systems. That's just part of the empty package. And I'm not saying that to pull down Amazon. I'm just saying different patterns work for different people. And the genius or what I hope you're going to learn in this class is to be able to diagnose a particular situation and say, this is the right pattern for it. Okay? That is the strategy formulation part. And that's what we're going to be doing till midterm. Midterm one, right? Midterm one is coming around here, end of this semester, end of this month. Yeah, end of this month, midterm. Yeah. Oh, come on, people. Have you not seen the course outline?
Yeah, midterm
Have you seen the course outline? Everyone have seen the
February
course outline?
6th,
Okay, midterm one is February 6th. Okay, February 6th and midterm 2 is okay.
March
So,
12th.
1 week after that, so that's where we're going to be. Midterm 2 will start. No, sorry. We'll do everything else for midterm 2 and then, okay? That's, we'll do the implementation, the evaluation, and then, okay? Questions about it? The way I think about strategy, again, is about pattern. It's about pattern. Goals, important, objective, maybe so, but it's about pattern. Okay? So these two sides, I think those are very important. The international, global international environment. One of the challenges that organizations face, one of the major challenges when we're making strategic management, strategy formulation, strategy implementation, is whether or not those strategies match those environments, right? The dynamics in those environments. So, for instance, a pattern that has been very successful for you, you're taking it to another country. You got to understand what pattern is going on in that country, whether it's going to, and you see that every time in business. I'll give you an example that most of us in this class will be able to relate with. In the US and in the West generally, the fund that owns a car they are the one driving the car, right? So let's say you have a Porsche, you're driving it, right? You're the one driving it. You know, you have a Mercedes-Benz, you're the one driving it. So when Mercedes-Benz wanted to go to China, they did the same thing. Basically, they put, so what that means is that when you're sitting down, I had an uncle when I was in Edmonton, that was a BMW. Sweet car. Oh, sweet car. Sweet, I'm telling you, everything. The seat massages your palm, right? Is that good? Is that good? Is that good, right? So they build all the luxury because of that. When you're building a car in North America, you build all the luxury around the driver's side. The driver's side is the most luxurious part of the car in North America. You take those to China. In China, like in most of our countries, the rich people don't drive the car.
Yeah.
Right?
The back seat.
You don't. You see, in my country, Nigeria, they say there's an homeless corner. There's a place in the back where you see. So they were wondering why their car is not selling. He's the driver that you're giving a luxury to, not the poor guy that wants to shell out $100,000 to buy a car. It's very simple, and it's surprising. They went into the market. They were, why are we not selling it? You're making the driver comfortable. The owner, the simple thing is the owner is not the driver. Whereas in North America, the owner is the driver. See? So, of course, they learned that. They decided to create a Chinese model, which began to serve, right? So that is where so you have your strategy. That is where the global and external environment and all that, of course, recession and all those high-level stuffs are also in there. Okay, let's see what's the time, what is it? Foundation. Again, this is basically giving a broad summary of what we will be doing in class. I want to go quickly to a particular. We are going to talk a lot about SWOT analysis in this class. So I think I should preface the class with that. Strength, weaknesses. What's the difference between strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats? What is the difference? You've done SWOT before, right? Have we had a SWOT before? What's the difference? Strength? What's a strength? Okay, technology advancement is the strength of that company. Okay, what else? So why is technology advancement is strength and not an opportunity?
Because probably in the last few years, the growth of the startups will work on technology. If I come in as a new company, I would have to spend money to make the technology already happen.
Okay. Anyone else? What's the difference? Okay, yes.
So Professor, strengths and weaknesses, these are my internal cohort, which I'm seeing now of the organization, that I can handle by myself, my employees and my ideas and everything. Opportunities and threats are more external factors that I have to deal with, and I cannot predict. I can predict, but I can't control.
Okay, did we hear that? Did we hear that?
No.
Okay. Mahia. What Mahia said is that strength and opportunity, strengths and weaknesses, they are inside the organization. Opportunities and threat, they are outside the organization. Yeah, of course, strength is positive, weakness is negative, opportunity is positive. I'm a stickler in that for this. I am a stickler. I deduct points every time you get this wrong. Okay? Every time you call an opportunity a strength, I deduct points. You understand that?
Yeah.
I'm not threatening, I'm just letting you know. Every time you call an opportunity a strength, I deduct points. So, because this is it, the organization is an environment itself. In fact, we do that when we are doing strategy formulation. We say internal environment analysis. There's something going on in the University of Windsor, right? This class is part of the University of Windsor, right? It's going on. Everything we're doing in this class is governed by the whatever we're doing, the governance. So this is inside the organization. There are policies of the government of Ontario that affect this organization, right? Those are not governed by the board of governors of this organization. So your strategy has to be different. How can we use our MOM program to attract more students? That's something you control. The MOM program is like a resource that is a strength of this organization. Now, what the Canadian government are doing with immigration, you don't have any control over that. I remember the president, I don't know whether, I'm sure you folks are around last semester, when the president of the university did a meeting with the student from India because of the thing, the tete-a-tetes. The Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister of Canada are doing. I don't know what they're doing. It's nothing you can control. As an organization, like a University of Wisconsin, you are only able to do what? React to that. So that may be an opportunity for you, that may be a threat for you. Please, it's very important, because this is why I'm saying that. I don't know why I mentioned that we've been doing it for 10 years, and students, you folks have the habit of trying to tell me everything you have done. By week 4, what I'll be asking you is go to your SWOT analysis. So when you have done there are many frameworks in strategy. What I want you to do, whatever your findings are, put them in a SWOT matrix. So let's say you do 5-force analysis. 5-force analysis, where will you put that? Is it inside or outside? 5-force analysis. Oh, okay. Don't worry. We'll get to that. 5 forces analyze the industry of an organization, right? The industry, you don't have control over that. It's external. So most of what you have in the 5 forces, they should be part of your opportunities and threats. So for instance, let's say you have your supplier power is high. Supplier power high means your supplier can draw more from the industry. It should be part of your threats. When you are doing your financial analysis, that is inside the organization, right? It's very, very important. I am a stickler for this, please. Okay? And the good thing for this, the good thing is that we're going to do a lot of this in class. We're going to do a lot of SWOT matrices in class. So I'm sure by week 7, 8, you'll be tired of me saying, do a SWOT matrix and all that. So these are a SWOT matrix you're supposed to do. This is what it's going to look like when you're done. So you got your strength, opportunities, and threat there. Because what you're trying to do, so the essence of a SWOT matrix is that for instance, you're trying to use your strength to take advantage of an opportunity. Okay? Good? We're going to delve into a lot of this. Questions? Questions? Okay, let's watch the video and I'll call it a day. Let me do a quick wrap up for you. What I want you to focus on when you are doing stuff in this class is the pattern. Don't be caught up with the minutiae. Oh yeah, this stuff. No, look at the pattern. You have to be able to see the big picture. That is strategy. Being able to see the big picture, that is strategy. Okay? So those colors, they're like ministers. I don't think so. It comes with the textbook. This comes with the textbook. There's no meaning. It's just that, of course, like in anything, green is always, like in any color code, green is always best, right? Because, so think of, okay, so let's pick this. So when the first thing, excuse me, the first thing you want to do is to identify your strength and your weaknesses, your opportunity and your strength. Strength opportunity means that you're using your strength to counter, to take advantage of an opportunity. That's the best kind of strategy. Right? There's an opportunity in your environment, you're stepping in because you are strong to go in there. Right? So that's the best, I think that's the only one I can explain, which is great, but the other one just came with the textbook. So of course, ST means you're making your strength to take advantage of your threat. It's good, but it's a threat. You don't have control over it. But there's an opportunity there. Say like think about it. Let's say one of the things that the MOM has done very well for the University of Windsor is that in the last they say 7-8 years, the Canadian government decided to explode immigration. People are coming in, people want to come in. That's why the MOM tried. That is a business. That's basically the business of MOM. I hope we won't tempt them a second. So that's basically the business of the MOM, right? Bring in people. Imagine an environment where the immigration policy is very, very unfriendly. Don't go too far. Down there in America. Yeah, trust me, I teach there. It's not the same. Trust me, if you don't live there, you won't know it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's just put it that way. So that they won't revoke my visa. It's not the same. So the schools there, some of the schools they are really, really struggling and have a very friendly immigration policy because many people are coming into the US. It's just that they are unable to get into the system, take advantage of the educational system at many schools. In fact, in most of the universities, we are looking at what we call enrollment cliff. It's a big threat to many universities in the US. And then, okay, so what happened was that, how many people know about the 2008 financial crisis? So 2008 financial crisis, what are some of the things that you think will happen during the financial crisis? Anyone that gets the one that I'm thinking about, what do I do? I'm not going to give you a point. We'll clap for them. What are some of the things that might happen socially in the financial crisis? Okay, I will tell you. People don't give back. Imagine if you're planning to start a family and then the economy just went south. That's not the time to give back to children. So that time, many of the families in the US did not give back to children. The children that are supposed to give back to children, then they are supposed to be going to college now. So they are not available. Many of the colleges in the US, I'm telling you, many colleges are going to close in the US in the next, many universities in the next 5 years. Because it's children that are supposed to be born then, that were not born, were supposed to be going to college now, they're not going to college. See? So all the universities in the US, they are really, really in a strategic management mode. How do we cope with this harsh environment? Right? So strengths, weaknesses, so that's basically what this was. This is what this is. And then we're going to talk a lot about this. Okay, any questions?
We had a sexy ready.
First name, last name, Windsor, right specific. Exact number. Ishad Khan. এটা কি ব্রাইট মানে অফিশিয়াল ইউনিভার্সিটিতে এটা আছে?
This was the very helpful advice I received just a few seconds before entering the conference room of a major retailer to discuss, you guessed right, strategy. Be the strategist, don't mention strategy. A moment of blind terror. But I'm a rational guy. 2 questions popped into my head. One was, how can I re-script this entire meeting in 2 seconds? That was pretty scary, so I had another thought, which was, what did this guy mean? Maybe I could sort of argue this out. But I have to confess, I sort of knew what he meant. Strategy. A slightly old-fashioned, faintly pompous word, probably conjures up images of the arcane processes of strategic planning that are generally very complex. You find in all large companies, lots of analysis, lots of planning, all in the name of improving the competitive advantage of the company. It's this classical concept of strategy which is increasingly being called into question, and not just by our CEO friend. Take the whole idea of planning. As one executive succinctly put to me, we spend 3 months of the year planning, and then the plan is obsolete within a month. Does that make sense? Not really. I'll take one of the big ideas of strategy. BCG's founder said that bigness was a very big idea, the idea of scale advantage. If you're the biggest in your industry, you'll probably be advantaged on costs, you'll probably make more money. Scale advantage. Well, let's look at some data. What proportion of the 3 largest companies across all industries do you think are also amongst the top 3 in terms of profitability? Is it 50% perhaps? Maybe 25%? Maybe 5%? Let's look at some data. Here is that number across 65 years for all companies in the US. And the answer is a not particularly overwhelming 7%. So big really is not as beautiful as it once was, and neither are some of the core concepts of strategy. So maybe strategy is dead, killed by technology or something like that. Maybe I should look for a new job. But it can't be so simple. Surely in these complex, turbulent times, don't we need great strategy more than ever? Think about the gap between winners and losers, for example. Let's look at the top 25% of profitable companies and the bottom 25% in profitability of all companies in the US across the same 65-year period. And let's see what happens. Crocodile jaws. Winners are winning bigger, and losers are losing bigger. And the gap is getting wider. We need to make the right choices and have great strategies more than ever. And furthermore, just consider how long it takes to go from being on the green line, a winner, to being on the white line, a loser. If you reach into your pockets, I'm sure you're all carrying a smartphone, and it probably isn't a Nokia phone because they don't make smartphones anymore. They were supplanted by Apple, a company that had never made a smartphone before. They supplanted a 60% market share leader in a highly technology-intensive business with high fixed costs, high returns to scale, high regulation, and fully global and very complex. And in less than 5 years. And this is, of course, just one of many examples I could give. So what's going on here? How can strategy be both more important than ever and increasingly questioned? It really does seem like strategy itself needs a strategy of some sort. Let's try and make sense of that. Let's strip strategy of all its complexity and nuance and just, what is it? Well, it's basically getting a job done. It's a tool. And the job is winning competitively in a particular situation. And we can capture those particular situations, I think, with just 3 very simple questions. Can we predict it? Can we plan it? Can we shape it? And can we survive it? Now, there are all sorts of changes that we've talked about that are going on in business across the last 10, 20, 30 years. Technology, globalization, social feedback loops. But I think strategically, the most important change is that business has been stretched by the forces of change across more of this space. So we still have very predictable businesses, ones where technology change isn't so fast, where strong brands protect against change. And we have very unpredictable businesses. We have businesses that haven't changed for decades and are not easily shaped. We have ones that have just been brought into being and therefore are infinitely shapeable. We have high growth hit technology businesses that have very favorable conditions. And we have declining businesses in declining markets meeting very harsh conditions. So the question is, what approach to winning would apply across this huge diversity of environments? What's the approach to strategy that maximizes your chance of winning given this incredible diversity? Well, it doesn't exist. This sweater is not here. There is no one size which fits all. the approach to strategy has to match the situation. It shouldn't surprise us. In fact, mathematicians have actually logically proven that there can be no universal approach to strategy across all problem sets. It really just depends upon the problem. So let's rethink that question of how to win in different environments and get a feel for what's the best approach to strategy in 5 very different types of environment. Let's go back to this space. First, let's start with the familiar classical environment. We can predict strong brands, limited technology change, perhaps higher regulation. So we can plan. We can analyze and plan and execute in the classical manner, and that's just fine if you're in branded household products or confectionery or a host of other industries. But what if you're in a turbulent technology industry where it's virtually impossible to forecast and you're in an adaptive environment? Well, we can't plan, so we shouldn't try. It's a waste of time. What can we do instead? We take a leaf from biology and we experiment, we adapt. The mantra becomes experiment, select, scale up, and iterate. A very different way of thinking about strategy. Think about the environment of the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs get actually to shape and to predict. How can they do that? It's because they are creating their environment by creating products such as 3D printing or personal genomic services. So the mantra of the strategy is very different again. You envisage something which doesn't exist, and you realize that in reality, and you exploit it. A very different way of thinking about strategy. Think about the exotic environment of the shaping environment. Here we have the ability to influence, but not the ability to predict. How could that be? That's because an ecosystem of many companies are collectively reshaping an industry. Think about, for example, the digital commerce businesses of Alibaba or the software, hardware ecosystems of Apple. Here we see an ecosystem at work. And the thinking is much more about influencing, collaborating, orchestrating, and co-evolving than about necessarily only competing. Then the penalty box, the renewal environment. If a company is talking about transformation or something of this sort, then basically it's gotten out of step with this environment and it faces very harsh conditions. And the objective here is not competitive advantage, it is mere survival. And the mantra is different again. This is about focusing activities, freeing up resources, and then transiting to another approach to strategy. 5 very different environments, 5 very different ways of thinking about strategy, all unleashed by one extra question. That extra question is, what is the approach to winning in the particular environment that I face? Now you're probably thinking, which of those approaches would work with my business? And that would be precisely the wrong question. And that's because all large businesses operate in multiple markets with multiple products, multiple lines of business, that face different conditions, each requiring their own approach. And furthermore, conditions change across time and increasingly quickly. So really, this is about choosing the right approach to winning in the right part of the business at the right time. And leaders today, I think, have a very key role in making sure that this strategy collage is vibrant, dynamic, and in tune with a changing environment. Back to reality, the scary meeting. The door opens. What did the CEO really think? That technology killed strategy? That we could somehow replace strategic choice and thought with agile action or lean or something of this sort? No, what he actually meant was that the single approach to strategy that the company had been adopting for years, classical strategic planning, was no longer adequate for the diverse circumstances that the different parts of that business faced. This business and business in general, in a way, are exiting an extraordinary period of business history where we believed that we could create success by analyzing and planning and by adopting one approach to strategy. Strategy is more important than ever, but we need to adopt the right approach in the right situation. We need to apply the whole palette of human ingenuity to the science of winning. Thank you.
your skills to learn. With in-demand programs, career advising, and exclusive.
Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about where we're going from here. Next week, our first class will be talking about the case. We will do a case analysis, but I'm trying to see whether I put that online, which is supposed to. Okay, so this is Tuesday. This week a case kind of with the out-of-the case analysis. That's what we're doing next week. Particular, I'm sure I put that on the course. Equation case, okay, the Coca-Cola company in 2008. That's what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday. Basically, I want to take you through how I expect you to analyze the cases and what you're looking for, and yep, that's what it's about. If you have not located folks in your team, please let's start doing that, because from Tuesday I want you to be sitting next to the team members, because most of our class activities, most of the things we are going to be doing in class, they will be with your team members. Okay. Like, you know, this praise, because I'll give you something to do. I want you to discuss with your team member. Because one thing that is very unique about strategy is I don't think there's any strategic management, whether business strategy or military strategy, that is done by one person. You may be a leader, but strategy is always a team effort. Because it's too high up there for someone to be able to see everything. So that's one thing I want us to inculcate in this class, okay? I want us to practice it. Let's sit down with people. And I know there's opportunity for free loading, so that's why I'm working around. We're posing questions to you individually, asking you, okay, what are you folks doing? You should know what your team members are doing, okay? Yes. Is that good? Yes. I will add one thing. I got an email, someone said they want to change their team. You're going to change the team. You got to find your replacement. So you want to go from team 1 to team 10 and find someone in team 10. And I will consider. I'm not saying I'm going to allow it. That's the only time I'm considering. That's the only time. I feel that the teams are finished and good now. Questions about the class? Okay, let's go over the reflection paper again. The first one is due next week, what's it called? Thursday, next week 18th. And the first thing you have to remember about the reflection paper is what's the first thing? You gotta submit it today in class. There is no, oh yeah, send someone, nope, I got it.
Participation.
So the reflection paper. So one class level, what I expect you to do is to identify 10 major points, 10 insights, 10 things that's, no, yeah, when I was reading the text, the chapter, these are something that I find interesting, okay? Those 10 things, they have to be from the chapter and the case, okay? It has to be from the chapters. I won't tell you what should be important to you. You should know. And you're reading, okay, I enjoy this particular thing. That's basically what I'm asking. And then you elaborate. It's very important to elaborate. It's not just, oh yeah, it's important to me, because then you just give me a list of 10 things and I'll give them 1 out of 2.5. I mean, why are you doing that? Sorry. That's why I put the elaborate. This was not how it was in the last class. Elaborate, why do you think this is important? So that, and what I'm going to be upfront with you. What I try to do is, when I give you an assignment, there's something I'm expecting. What I'm expecting is I want you to read the textbook. I don't know why people want to go to school and they don't want to read the textbook. You gotta read the textbook to pass. And elaborate, basically, that's where you build your own perspective. I want to hear your voice, right? Bring your experience. Okay, you're reading about some accounting stuff. You've done some accounting stuff back in the day in your job. Talk about it. You're thinking about your vision and the mission. Talking about, you've worked somewhere. Talk about the vision of the organization. Okay? Now, you also have to talk about this insight in terms of the case. Again, it's my way of saying read the case. Because if I just come to class and say read the case, you will not read the case. But if I put some points on reading the case, probably will get more success. And the reason is because I'm going to focus a lot on the case in the class, the analysis of the case, and I want you to be able to contribute. Don't know how many times I've been in classes and no one has read the case. And I'm just speaking, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm the only one that has read the case. So please, for the reflection paper, it has to be from the chapter and the case.
So all the cases are based on the chapters or outside the scope of chapters?
No, so I don't understand that question.
So all the cases has the information which is based on particular chapter that you're referring to, or it has to be any chapter or any...
Important question here, people. Important question here. The point you are drawing from the case, it doesn't have to be connected to the chapter. Okay, so okay. Now that we have all the cases lined up, so each day, thank you so much for bringing up that question. This is our schedule, right? This is our schedule. So this is our schedule, right? So there's a chapter for January 18, there's a chapter 2. Okay? But it's also a case that we're analyzing that day. And that is case 3. So we're going to see the case I should. So if you go to the content, and you go to this content, I'm going to pull it up here. This is 18. You're looking grade 3. So for your reflection paper 1, you're talking about chapter 2 and case 3. Okay? Does that make sense?
Chapter 2, case 3. Okay.
So your reflection paper, you're talking about chapter 2 and case 3. Now the insight you derive from the case does not have to be related to chapter 2. And I think that's your question, right? So the insight, maybe it's just a size, it's a division, it's a structure that interests you, that's fine. Okay? So it doesn't have to be, of course, some people try to integrate the chapter and the case. I'm not going to say don't do that, but be very specific, right? I'm not going to push you to do that, because what I want you to do is just assimilate the materials, we come to class, we have a conversation about it. Okay?
Insights from the case
Combined. So it's a combination. So it can be 5 insights from the textbook, 5 from the case, 7 from the chapter. Okay? Is that good? Elaborate. That's very important. It's the easiest. This is the easiest grade you will get in class. You get your 10 insights, you get your elaboration, you get a 2.5. Okay? Any other question? If you think about something, please email me. Thank you so much, everyone. That's the class.
কেমন লাগলো ক্লাস? কেমন লাগলো ক্লাস?
আচ্ছা এখানে যে বিটার প্রোটেকশন দিয়ে দিলেই তো হয়ে যাবে এখন কি দিতে রিভিউ
তারপরে হচ্ছে গানি কিনছে আমাদের বন্ধু নিতে
তোমাদের তো শেষ রাইট
এখন স্ট্র্যাটেজি খেলাইতে যাবে
ও
প্রফেসর তো আমাকে
ভালোবাসাকে বলবে
হ্যাঁ
ভালোবাসা
ভালোবাসা তো ওর তো পুরো মানে সব হয়ে গেছে লাভার ওই গ্রুপে কেউই ছাড়বে না and think of প্রথম বছরে যে যেতে বলবো স্যার
ওই কি থেকে আসে ছাড়া তো ভালো হয়
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে
আচ্ছা